Hello everyone, this is Cody Lee of BlackCatBooks.org, author of I, the Dragon, Cruel and Beautiful, Rabbit Hole, and King Dio. The PC gamers, boy, the PC gamers constantly blowing themselves out. This is something I've talked about extensively at length several times now. Just talking a lot of shit about PC gamers and like the current state of PC gaming. And now, it really has gotten a little bit worse. It really does feel like PC gamers are starting to realize that their platform of choice isn't interesting, it isn't innovative, it isn't new, it isn't fresh or exciting. So as a result of that, their primary response to everything is that, Bayonetta 3, it's been leaked for a PC release. Monster Hunter Rise, that'll come to PC. Still hasn't happened. All these third-party games, they'll all have their definitive versions on PC. And for the Nintendo games, we can just emulate those. Those aren't a big deal. Not only is none of that true, it's the lies are really piling up and becoming more and more and more absurd and ridiculous. Like, we are getting to the point where people have been doing this for years, but I'm seeing it more and more. We are getting to the point where people are straight up saying that games are running perfectly fine on emulators when they're not. Like, I was seeing people saying that, like, Origami King was up and running right away. I was seeing people saying they were playing Three Houses, that they were playing, like, Odyssey, that they were playing Breath of the Wild. They kind of exclude all the steps necessary to get it to happen, like the PC rig they need to have, the specific emulator, like the donations you have to spend on that emulator, like having to pirate and download the game to begin with. Like, you have to jump through all of these hoops in order to get a game that might run on PC. Might, and that is a big might, because it's bizarre, the weird kind of admissions that these people will kind of acknowledge if you're like going through a lot of these discussions and conversations. For example, like N64 games are coming to PC. What happened? The PC gamers tried to say they can just emulate all of them, but as it so happens, a lot of people were talking like, a lot of people were admitting that, like, you know, a lot of these games, a lot of these N64 emulators still, even in 2021, don't run all that well. They're not, like, optimized for certain games. They don't run. Like, they have issues. They have slowdown. They crash occasionally. Frame rate drops. Like, there are a lot of problems that these games have. Excuse me, I need to lift. Sorry, I'm in my home gym at the moment. I'm actually lifting. So, the PC gamers are, at this moment, every time a new Nintendo Direct drops, they try to make excuses and justify why PC gaming is their preferred platform. Like, oh, that's getting a PC release. That'll be ported. That'll be emulated. Like, they just keep making shit up. And more, I think it's going to be difficult to continue. It's going to continue to be difficult to do this. Like, already with Wii games, you kind of struggle with with putting in the motion controlled sensors and things like that. Like, that problem is only going to continue with games like Star Fox Zero and ARMS, games that heavily rely on motion control technology to work. Star Fox Zero, I have confirmation, is still not emulated 5 years later. Like, you can make all the excuses you want, that like, oh man, people just don't want to play Star Fox Zero, but the reality is just that like, you don't have every game on the Wii U library. You don't have every game on the Nintendo library. And now, what we're seeing with the Switch is that there are so many. If you're a subscriber to the Nintendo Switch Online, right? If you have access to these games, you can just hit a button and like, oh, download, like, not even download, like, they're already there. Like, if you download the app for N64, like, you get Ocarina, you get Super Mario 64, you get Winback, you get Mario Tennis, you get Sin and Punishment, like, all this crazy shit that you might not have even heard of, right, on emulators. Right there, with a press of a button, really quick interface, really engaging, the games as they were originally released, fully functional, online play, I think, is confirmed. Like the definitive version of the game, these games are on Nintendo hardware. You are simulating that experience on PC, assuming you get these games at all. And the more you struggle and deny it, like the more people like me are going to continue making fun of you, because you people are downright delusional. PC gaming cannot compete with Nintendo in 2021 or in the future. PC gaming will continue to decline, and companies like Valve and Epic are going to continue to rely increasingly on consoles and especially smartphones to continue generating what revenue. Blizzard is going downhill, Activision is going downhill, well, they're the same company. Sega, Konami, Capcom, Square Enix. Like, what are you looking forward to? Like, since Cyberpunk 2077, it feels like you people have been in like a death spiral and just don't want to admit it. You are an old man at the end of his life who just doesn't want to acknowledge that he spent his life, ruining his family and just ruining his entire, just lived a bad, just had a bad existence, and that he's going to hell because he has no idea. He had no idea what he was doing, what he was missing out on, what the value of living actually is. That's the PC gaming community. You don't know what makes console superior, and as a result of that, you have no idea what it means to be a gamer.